I'd like to have everybody gather around the tent, please, if you can get to a place where you can see and hear. Good afternoon and welcome to the Turrill Year-Round School Ribbon Cutting Ceremony. My name is Matt Wandry, Superintendent of Schools. On behalf of the Board of Education and the staff and students of Lapeer Community Schools, I want to welcome you to this historic event. At this time, I'd like to invite our new Turrill students who will be coming up and joining me here on stage to recite our Pledge of Allegiance. Boys and girls. You never thought you'd live to see the day when students are happy to go back to school on August 1st.
Dude, we're trying to go to school tomorrow. We're going to school tomorrow.
Well, I mentioned earlier the historic nature of this event. It truly is that. Many of us know that, having lived in the Lapeer area for a majority of our lives, that Turrill Elementary School, once upon a time, was a year-round school. For a variety of reasons, went back to a traditional calendar, and we're so proud to be able to bring the year-round focus concept back to the Lapeer community, based in large part on our parents' choices and your input relative to the type of focus school that you wanted to see back in our community. Before we begin, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce some of the folks up here on stage with me. To my left, our new Turrill Elementary School principal, Mr. Ken Janzerak. Board of Education Vice President, Mr. Gary Oyster. And Board of Education Trustees, Mrs. Peggy Bush. Mr. Mike Nolan. And Mrs. Wendy Byard. I'd also like to recognize the representatives from Mayor Bill Sprague's office and some of our local city commissioners who are also here with us this afternoon, so thank you for your support. Our new four-year strategic planning process began back in October, and the first step was a community survey whereby we selected and randomly surveyed over 1,000 residents of the Lapeer area, both parents and non-parents alike, to ask about some significant changes and questions and a new direction for our school district. One of the questions we asked was, what types of new innovative ideas did you want to see happen in our district moving forward? That survey was primarily aimed at talking to our elementary age parents and people in the community who have a vested interest and a long-term one in what our district eventually looks like. And the focus concept that received the most attention and certainly the most support was the year-round school idea. The choice was a very simple one for us in the administrative offices and for the Board of Education to be very responsive to what our community wanted. Now, we're going to continue to evaluate and examine new focus concepts for our remaining 4 elementary schools, but by far, the year-round concept was overwhelmingly supported by you, and this school and today's ceremony represents our commitment to community involvement and your persistent focus and involvement and input relative to what you want to see your school district look like. So after the survey in October, we conducted a series of over 30 focus panels and town hall meetings going to every single elementary school in the district, inviting you to come in and share your opinions about what this school and other schools should look like in the future. We've created over 6 task forces that if you go on the website today, the newly redesigned website, you can sign up as a parent, as a community member, as a business owner, as a student, and be a part of any task force you want to continue to provide that important input. Because as a representative of the school district and certainly the Board of Education, we know that the constant in any community is the parents. And you'll be here in large degree long after many of us are gone. So we don't hope to shape the district in our image, we hope to shape it in yours and lead you in that regard. So after we finished the focus panels and the town hall forums, the idea for Turrill was born and the logistic kickoff began sometime in January, February, that we began the very short window of time we had to get this idea off the ground. The really unique part about how we did this and what you supported in the aggressive nature of our strategic plan was to do it. We could have waited a year or two, but you said, no, we want the change now. While that was difficult for us to process logistically, we responded and did it, and we are standing here today the day before school starts, and I'm happy to announce the building is beautiful, it's in fantastic shape, and ready to go on day one. What I'm most proud of as a superintendent is a simple thing about Turrill Elementary School. It's that every student, every parent, every teacher, your new principal, you chose it. You selected it. You weighed your options. And we have students and families from every corner of our school district that spans over 225 square miles, coming from every area, every corner of the district, choosing this idea. People have asked me, the media have asked me, my colleagues in education have asked me, are you worried about Turrill's success? And before they even finish the question, the answer is a resounding no. I have no doubts this is going to be hugely successful and is going to chart a new course whereby other surrounding districts seek us out to find out how did we get that done. I am very confident because you want to be here, because we are emerging as the district of choices, not just in elementary school, but at the middle level and the high school levels as well. And although our strategic plan is an aggressive one that's going to require a real strong commitment on your part, it's focused on what's right for students. And you selected that, and you get to guide that every step of the way. We're very proud of that. There's a few people I'd like to thank before I hand the mic over to a representative from our Board of Education. Without question, when school ends in mid-June, and you're repurposing an entire building and school community for a new concept that's going to start in August, the timeline is certainly very condensed. And as early as last week, I walked the building, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous. But there's a few people that absolutely worked overtime, double time to get this done. Our Supervisor of Grounds and Maintenance, Mr. Mark Meisner, certainly the leader of that group. Mark, where are you at? Right there. Mark, thank you so much for your dedication and your commitment to getting this building open. Sometimes it's cliche and you hear it often. I say this from the bottom of my heart with the most sincerity I can muster. This would not have happened without Mark Meisner's efforts, without question. And so we are here today, and the building looks as fantastic as it does because of Mark's effort and his ability to lead his team effectively. So thank you so much, Mark. I want to thank our staff, who also, our teaching staff and parapros and secretaries and deans of students, our new principals, who certainly worked overtime to get things ready to hopefully open our new doors for you and show you the best what we have to offer. Turrill truly is a beacon in our district, and I challenge you parents, I challenge our teachers, and I challenge our students to make our school not only the envy of the district, but the envy of the county and neighboring counties, so we can deliver what we have said we were going to deliver, which is we are the district of choices, we are innovative, and while every other district around us is focused on cuts and what to live without, we focused on what was important, which is what's right for kids and how can we do it better. Yes, we've had to make sacrifices, and our staff has stepped up to do that, but that's not what we're committed to talking about. What we're committed to talking about is how do we improve the instruction, how do we improve what we offer, and how do we make it better for the 6,000 students that come to school here every day. The 6,000 students that don't care what the economy is like, they don't care who the governor is, they don't care who their state representative is. All they care about is that my teacher loves me and my teacher cares about my education. And if we can build a school district that echoes that sentiment every single day, there's nothing that can stop us from being the #1 school in the nation, being the #1 district in the nation. It's time to start setting our sights higher. It's time to stop being satisfied with just being good. We're going to go from good to great, and Turrill represents a great start in that mission. So I conclude my comments with a thank you to you for committing to something different, to stepping out, dipping your toe in the cold pool of water when everybody said you were crazy, and you are the true leaders of this community because you're pioneers in something completely different. So thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. At this time, speaking on behalf of our board president, Mr. Mike Keller, who could not be with us, I'd like to reintroduce Mr. Gary Oyster, our school board president, vice president.
Thank you, Mr. Wandry. Why a ribbon cutting? Have you ever thought about what that represents? Why we cut ribbons when we open new stores or new roads? Well, in general terms, it kind of represents cutting through some sort of barrier, some sort of old way of thinking in order to enter a new place. So why are we cutting a ribbon at a building that's already here and been here for a long time? Well, here at Turrill, we have a new way of managing the learning business. Just like a new store has a new business, we have a new way of managing the learning business this year. For the students, they have a new way of traveling the road to growing up. Now, this is different than the last time Turrill served as our one-year or year-round school some 30 years ago. Back then, that was basically a top-down decision. The educational experts thought, you know, this would be a good idea, let's make it available if enough people want to do it. As Mr. Wandry has just described for us, this new program was developed based on what came out of focus groups and town halls last year, as what significant numbers of families preferred for a school calendar. In bigger terms, this is not just the beginning of a new type of school for our district. This is the beginning of a new way of looking at delivering education here in Lapeer, with a focus on students and how they can learn best. Understanding the differences in learning styles require different approaches to the same goal. And that means having options. The more options for success, the fewer the excuses for failure. This takes advantage of our greatest educational resource, the people involved in teaching our children. Mr. J and his staff are ready to take full advantage of this new type of school schedule to help every student achieve at least a year's growth in a year's time. But just like a new store won't succeed without customers coming in their doors ready to buy, and a new road isn't useful until it's driven on, we need you students and you parents to come in and make yourselves at home here at Turrill. Starting school a month earlier and spreading the school year out is not some magic wand that will automatically give you a year's growth in a year's time. If that is going to happen, you will need to share the same goal as your school board and its staff every time you come through the doors of this building. That by next June 14th, our children will not only be at least 1 year smarter, but 1 year better. Better learners, better classmates, better sons and daughters, and better brothers and sisters. And I know our staff is ready to make that happen, and we are looking forward to you joining us in that effort. So on behalf of the school board, I'd like to ask you all at this time, are you as ready and excited to go as we are? Are you ready for opening day? Mr. Wandry.
Last year when we decided that the year-round focus concept was going to be the idea that solidified the one that we were going to move forward with, there was one principal of our existing elementary schools that came to me and asked if he could begin to research neighboring year-round focus schools, and if he could begin to develop a plan without even knowing that he would be named and selected as this school's principal. So when I talk to our staff on a fairly regular basis about, do we have, and I question our staff, do we have a spirit of Lapeer? Meaning, do we make choices that are good for all students, not just our buildings? Certainly I want our teachers and our principals to love the buildings where they work, but beyond that, I challenge them to think about what's best for the entire district. Mr. J, as he's affectionately referred to by the students, is certainly an employee that embraces that idea, the spirit of Lapeer. Because even before even knowing that he was going to become part of this school, he cared about the concept so much he was willing to spend his time researching the idea, bringing the information back to the team, and sharing what he'd learned. So I am more than proud to introduce the new Turrill Elementary School Principal, Mr. Ken Janzrak.
Thank you everyone for coming this evening. As we move through the last year, the anticipation for tonight's build and the excitement in the building right now is one that you can feel as you walk the halls. Before moving on, I have to offer a great thank you to the Lapeer custodial staff. The work they did day in and day out to work behind the contractors to get things ready for today is amazing. I can't thank them enough. The hard work and dedication they offer is hands down the greatest I've ever seen. Another great thank you has to go out to the teaching staff. Supportive, understanding, knowing that our timeline was very short in terms of getting them into the building, and I can't thank them enough for having that understanding, supportive idea behind, we know we're going to get in there, we'll get everything done, and even up until the last minute, everyone working together to ensure that we were done. Owen Tree Service has so graciously donated 2 trees. As you pull around the new parking lot over here, you'll notice we have 2 great trees planted. And that was Owen Tree Service and their owner, Randy Owen, who donated those. Our PTC also wanted to offer something as a tree to add to this day of opening, and they put a tree right next to our flagpole. So please, as you see them in the community, as you see our PTC around, thank them for that donation. It's one that's going to remind us of today, of reopening Turrill as a year-round school. Becky Bailey offers a lot of advice as a presenter for families and teachers. And one of her lines that I really enjoy is, "Power comes from choice." I've supported that concept. It's been on my office door for the last 3 years. Power comes from choice. Well, it didn't mean as much until today, until looking out, looking at all the families, the power that you have been given in terms of the choice to make it here today. Thank you again for everything. I look forward to a wonderful year. Student learning is going to continue to push forward like Mr. Oyster stated. Thank you again and have a great day.
Okay, we've talked enough. We'd like to invite the 7 students up front. Get him in the middle. Slide down here, guys. We're going to let everybody count. Are we ready? On the count of 3, can I get some help from the audience? On 1, 2, 3. All right. Great job, boys and girls. Okay, moms and dads, let the record reflect that this ceremony took less than 20 minutes on this hot day. How about a round of applause? 20 minutes in the sun. Okay, let's give our teachers a few minutes to get to their classrooms. I know we're all very excited. And our teachers are excited too. This is, as a former teacher, the preparation, the planning for the first day of school is always an exciting time. The new year, getting ready to meet our new students is exciting. So the teachers are excited to share with you some great things about their classroom. So let's give our teachers about 2 or 3 minutes to get to their classrooms. Thank you so much for coming, and please enjoy the next few hours at your new school. We also have punch and lemonade down here to my left, and also there are building maps available when you enter the building.